He was 96 years old and still waking up with a firm, healthy erection. No medications, no injections, no testosterone therapy. Just one simple habit he had followed faithfully every single day for over 40 years. As a board-certified urologist and men's health surgeon with more than 3 decades of experience, I thought I had seen it all. Thousands of patients, countless conditions, but this man stopped me in my tracks. My name is Dr. Edward Grayson. I've dedicated my entire career to helping older men, especially those over 60, reclaim their vitality, restore confidence, and reconnect with their intimate lives. But nothing in my medical training, no journal article or clinical case, ever prepared me for what this 96-year-old patient taught me that afternoon. Most men assume that aging means inevitable decline, that losing erections is just part of getting older. But what if I told you that's only part of the truth? That there's one small, natural, low-cost daily practice that could turn that belief upside down. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what this gentleman did and how modern science supports his results. You'll discover how to improve blood flow, strengthen your erections, support prostate health, and rediscover the kind of sexual energy you thought was behind you all without relying on prescription meds. But before I explain the habit that made all the difference, I want to help you understand what's really going on inside your body after age 60. Because once you get that, the effectiveness of this routine will become clear. Let's get into it. And before we go any further, if you haven't already subscribed, this is a good moment to do so. Tap the bell to stay updated on future videos created to help men stay strong, focused, and fully present as they age. If you find this video valuable, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. And let me know what you'd like to see more of. Your feedback helps shape these conversations. Now, let me tell you about the moment that shifted everything for me. It was an ordinary Tuesday when a 96-year-old man walked into my clinic. No cane, no help, just a relaxed, self-assured smile. What he revealed during that appointment would forever change how I think about longevity and male vitality. This wasn't your average annual checkup. This was a masterclass in aging well. I remember it like it was yesterday. He walked in upright, steady, with a light in his eyes and an energy that most men decades younger had long forgotten. At an age when many slow down and rely heavily on others or on prescriptions, he was thriving, mentally sharp, physically mobile, and radiating quiet strength. I welcomed him like I do any patient expecting to run through the usual checks: blood pressure, prostate health, basic labs. But within just a few minutes, I knew this visit wasn't going to be typical. After the exam, I asked my standard question: how's everything going physically, including intimacy? He chuckled, looked me square in the eyes, and said, "Doc, I still wake up rock solid every morning." I blinked, thinking I'd misheard. I asked again, just to be sure, and he grinned. "Still going strong. No problems. I'm 96, not a relic." He wasn't showing off. He was just stating a fact. As someone who's spent decades helping men with erectile issues, prostate troubles, and hormone decline, I was floored. How was this man doing what so many others, even those in their 60s, were struggling to achieve? Naturally, I leaned in and asked him, "What's your secret?" And I'll never forget his answer. "There's just one thing I do, every day, one small habit. I started back in my 50s, and I've stuck with it ever since. Simple, natural, works like a charm." I expected something elaborate, maybe an exotic supplement or some high-end therapy. But what he told me was so simple, so ordinary, I nearly laughed. But I didn't, because the man in front of me was living proof that it worked. That moment changed my entire outlook on aging and male health. It challenged the assumptions we've all accepted about what happens after 60. This man wasn't beating the odds. He was showing us the rules might be all wrong. What he shared with me that day has since become one of the most important recommendations I give to older male patients. And now I want to pass it on to you, along with the science that makes it so effective. At first, I'll admit I was doubtful. I nodded, but I was skeptical. Still, I had to know. "So what's the habit you've stuck with for over 4 decades?" I asked. He smiled and said, "Every morning, without fail, I eat 1 handful of raw mixed nuts and seeds. That's it. That was it. A small handful. No medications, no devices, no rigid routines. I was taken aback, even a little incredulous. But something about his calm certainty stuck with me. And then I remembered what I saw during the checkup. A man almost a century old, mentally alert, physically strong, still intimately active. That kind of health doesn't just happen. It's earned. So I started researching. I dug into the literature, nutritional science, cardiovascular data, hormone studies looking for the why behind this result. And what I found backed him up. The science was sound, even stronger than I expected. That one daily handful was doing far more than keeping his erections firm. It was helping to maintain his circulation, protect his heart and brain, and support his prostate health. Nutrients like magnesium, zinc, selenium, healthy fats, and especially L-arginine were working in tandem, boosting blood flow, easing inflammation, and fueling the body's natural systems to keep him feeling like himself. I couldn't help but think about the countless men I'd treated over the years, good men who felt defeated, ashamed, or simply resigned to losing their sexual strength. They'd been told it was just part of getting older, but here was someone quietly proving that didn't have to be true. And the solution? It was so basic, so within reach, it almost seemed unfair how long it had been ignored. From that day forward, I started recommending it to more patients. And what happened in the months and years that followed was undeniable. The pattern was clear. Small change, real results. But this wasn't just about eating a few nuts. The real magic was in why it worked so well, what was unfolding inside the arteries, hormones, and cells of these men's bodies that made this such a potent habit. That's when the science got really exciting. Because what most people, even physicians, don't always grasp is that these aren't just healthy snacks. Nuts are one of nature's most underappreciated tools for male performance. In fact, I began to think of them as nature's alternative to medication, but without the risk or the side effects. Let's get specific. For an erection to happen and to last, blood needs to move swiftly and smoothly into the erectile tissue. That can only happen when your blood vessels are relaxed, elastic, and open. And the key to that is a molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is what tells your blood vessels to expand. It's the exact pathway that drugs like Viagra try to mimic. But without enough of it, even if your mind is willing, your body might not follow. Here's where it gets interesting. Many of the nuts this patient ate daily were rich in a compound called L-arginine, a natural amino acid that helps the body produce nitric oxide. Once inside your system, L-arginine helps activate those internal signals that widen blood vessels and improve flow, especially in the areas that matter most during intimacy. But that's not all. This improved circulation supports your whole body, from your heart to your brain to your energy levels. The more I looked into it, the more I realized that this man wasn't just preserving sexual function. He was reinforcing his vascular health from the inside out, using nothing more than food. And then, as I kept checking in with other patients who adopted the same routine, the pattern kept repeating itself. Better performance, more energy, sharper focus, sometimes in just a few short weeks. But circulation is only half the story. The real power came from the exact nuts he was choosing, each one delivering its own benefit. That's when I started referring to them as Erection superfoods. And now I want to show you the 6 I recommend most often and why they've made such a difference in my practice. Once I understood how this simple habit was enhancing blood flow, I became curious. Which specific nuts were delivering the strongest impact? Because the truth is, not all nuts offer the same benefits. What this patient had done, perhaps instinctively, was choose a very particular blend of natural foods, each contributing in its own way to support his sexual vitality. I began calling them Erection superfoods, not for dramatic effect, but because that's exactly what they are. Let me walk you through the 6 I now regularly recommend to nearly every older male patient I see. First, pistachios. These are rich in L-arginine, the amino acid that helps produce nitric oxide. But that's not all. They're also full of antioxidants and plant-based compounds that help keep blood vessels flexible. Clinical trials have shown measurable gains in erectile strength within weeks of adding pistachios to a daily diet. Next, Walnuts loaded with omega-3 fatty acids. These reduce inflammation and improve blood flow viscosity, making it easier for blood to move through the body without friction or resistance. Smooth, steady circulation is everything when it comes to performance. Almonds are another powerhouse. High in vitamin E and magnesium, they help regulate hormones and support healthy nerve communication, both essential for consistent arousal and function. Hazelnuts, similarly rich in vitamin E, are also known to help stabilize testosterone levels, which tend to decline with age. Then there's the Brazil nut, which I often refer to as a secret weapon. It's one of the richest natural sources of selenium, a mineral vital for testosterone production and sperm quality. Finally, pumpkin seeds, small but mighty, they're loaded with zinc, a nutrient crucial for maintaining libido and prostate health, two pillars of male vitality as you get older. Each of these foods plays a unique role, but when combined, their effects multiply. Together, they form a kind of all-natural support system, strengthening circulation, balancing hormones, and fueling your body with the tools it needs to stay sharp and responsive. No chemicals, no artificial ingredients, just raw, nutrient-dense food doing what nature designed it to do. Still, even with all these benefits, many of my patients share one concern. Aren't nuts high in fat? Won't I gain weight? It's a completely valid question, especially for men who were taught to fear fat for decades. Let's clear that up. Yes, nuts are high in fat, but it's the good kind. These are unsaturated fats, the ones your body actually needs. Omega-3s and monounsaturated fats help fight inflammation, stabilize cholesterol, and keep your cardiovascular system humming. They're like internal maintenance for your arteries, helping blood glide smoothly through every part of your body, including the areas most important for intimacy. Even better, these healthy fats also support brain function and hormonal health, leading to better memory, clearer focus, and more stable testosterone. So no, these fats won't slow you down. In fact, they may be just what your body's been waiting for. So when you reach for that small handful of mixed nuts each morning, you're not just supporting your sexual wellness, you're making an investment in your longevity, mental clarity, and emotional strength. Now, let's talk honestly about the calorie question. Yes, nuts are high in calories, but they're also incredibly satisfying. That means you're less likely to reach for sugary snacks or processed foods that truly do contribute to weight gain and sluggish energy. All it takes is a single serving around 1.5 to 2 ounces. It's not about piling on more, it's about choosing better. The man who inspired this entire journey, the one who was still thriving at 96, wasn't obsessing over macros or tracking every bite. He simply made one thoughtful choice every single day. And that quiet consistency added up not just in terms of intimacy, but in every corner of his well-being. But there's something even more important I want to share, because this message isn't just about nutrition or blood flow or scientific facts. It's about something deeper, something many older men don't often talk about, but feel deeply. It's about identity. It's about the part of you that still wants to feel connected, purposeful, and alive. Over the years, I've seen it again and again. Men in their 60s and 70s walking into my office not just with symptoms, but with silence, with uncertainty, with the quiet ache of having lost touch with themselves. For some, it's about a strained relationship. For others, it's about feeling invisible. But when we sit down and truly talk, what they're really looking for isn't just answers. They're looking for hope. That's why I never view erectile health as just a vanity topic. I see it as a gateway to quality of life. Because when a man feels strong and capable in his body, his entire presence shifts. He stands taller, speaks more clearly, engages more fully with his partner, with his world, and with himself. That's what my 96-year-old patient understood on a level most of us miss. He didn't treat his body like a problem to fix. He treated it like something worth honoring. And that's what this tiny daily habit really symbolizes. Not a trick, not a magic pill, but a quiet, consistent promise to keep showing up, to stay present, to remain alive in every sense of the word. You don't need perfection. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to begin with one small handful, one grounded decision, one morning at a time. And if you're still with me, maybe you're wondering what so many men ask at this point. Is it too late for me? Let me share something I believe every man over 60 needs to hear clearly and from the heart. As we reach the final part of this message, I want to share something I believe deeply. It is never too late to feel like a man again. And perhaps more importantly, it's never too late to feel like yourself again. For decades, I've listened to men just like you who've been told by doctors, by the culture around them, or by that quiet voice inside, that getting older means saying goodbye to intimacy, desire, and the sense of confidence they once knew. But I've seen too much to believe that's true. Because time and again, I've watched men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s rediscover what it feels like to be fully alive. Their bodies still respond, they just need the right kind of care. We talked about one man, 96 years old, who stayed strong and vibrant without pills or extreme routines. Just one small, natural habit. A daily handful of raw nuts and seeds rich in L-arginine, selenium, zinc, magnesium, and healthy fats. This simple act helped him maintain circulation, balance his hormones, and preserve the kind of energy that most assume fades with age. We explored how those nutrients support the production of nitric oxide, keep blood vessels open and healthy, protect prostate function, and boost not just bedroom performance, but clarity of thought, heart health, and mood. We also challenged old beliefs that fats are bad, or that aging means shrinking your lifestyle. Instead, we focused on eating wisely, fueling our bodies, and staying engaged with the parts of ourselves that still long for connection and vitality. But the most powerful part of this story, and the one most often ignored, is emotional. Because when you disconnect from this side of yourself, it's not just the body that slows down, it's the spirit too. So if you remember just one thing, let it be this: you're not broken. Your body still knows what to do. It simply needs the chance and your permission to respond. A new chapter isn't about turning back time. It's about showing up with honesty, consistency, and care. Tomorrow morning, when you're at the counter and reach for that handful of mixed nuts, think about what it really represents. It's more than a snack. It's a statement that you still matter, that you still care, and that you are choosing to reconnect with the life that's waiting for you. Because strength isn't something you used to have, it's something you still hold, and now you get to return to it. If this message spoke to something inside you, even a little, I hope you'll like the video, share it with another man who might need it, and leave a comment to let me know how you're feeling or what you're facing. Your voice matters here. And if you'd like to support our efforts to keep creating real, honest content for older men, even a small contribution can go a long way. You're not walking this road alone, and your presence helps this mission thrive. Thank you for being part of it.